Hello, Aurox Nation. It's good to see you guys again. We have some special guests today. We have Justin and Michael. If you guys can introduce yourselves to our users, and we'll kind of discuss, what you guys do and everything else.
Awesome. Well, happy to be here on today's live stream. My name is Justin Wu. I'm the co-founder of DeFi Summit. I'm also a content creator on crypto Twitter. Name is Justin Wu or Hackerpreneur. I just tweet about all things DeFi and what's coming on the horizon. And my background's just been helping build communities, content, and brands for blockchain companies since 2016. And happy to share my insights here today about what's going on in DeFi as well as crypto in general. There's just been a barrage of nonstop FUD and crazy news that's been happening for the past week. And actually there's a lot of stuff that happened this weekend even that we'll talk a little bit more about.
How about you, Michael?
Oh, yeah. Hi, guys. My name is Michael. I'm the other co-founder of DeFi Summit. Been in the blockchain space since around 2017, mostly specifically around marketing. So blockchain marketing and community building. I've worked with projects similar to Polygon, which is previously Matic Network, Chromia, Unilend, and kind of like a whole variety of different other protocols. And then from there, dove really deep into DeFi around March of last year when the whole kind of like DeFi wave started. Before then was doing arbitrage trading for like Uniswap and SushiSwap, and then switching that to like centralized exchanges and everything. So been a little bit integrated into like the DeFi world for a while. And now we're kind of like doing like DeFi marketing and consulting, also NFT marketing and consulting as well.
Nice. So, I mean, what's your opinion about what's going on in DeFi and I guess in cryptocurrency in general right now? Because like Justin mentioned, there's a lot of FUD going on and doesn't seem to be easing up. It did look like it was easing up on Friday, I think it was. And then we just kind of went back to everything else.
Yeah, I think like with DeFi right now, it's like we already saw like the first wave that can kind of get in, but it's not like that's where it ends. Yeah. So that's like why we wanted to have DeFi Summit too, is because like we wanted to be blockchain agnostic. Everyone always thought in the beginning it was only going to be staying on Ethereum. Now we're having Binance Smart Chain. We're having Cardano later on if they release smart contracts. We have, Solana, all these other blockchains that are going to be building. And I would say like right now, it's just like retail money that's in DeFi. We haven't had like any big institutions say that they're adopting decentralized finance as part of their, revenue streams. So I think it still has a long leg to go. And the FUD that's there right now is kind of, it's kind of like, you can't go up without going back down a little bit, just to test resistance. So I feel like it's kind of perfectly healthy because there are like some crazy yields in DeFi, but we just got to maintain it.
Yeah, I mean, it's DeFi is, it's blown up this summer, but it's relatively new. So just like with Bitcoin, the first few years, it was just no one was really paying attention. And then, of course, now people are paying attention. And those early adopters are going to get rewarded right now. It's the same thing with the NFT. People were talking about NFT, was it a year ago, maybe longer than a year ago? And now those early adopters are the ones that are really stepping up in the scene and doing well.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on in the space that, if you just go to like DeFiPulse.com, you can see like how much TVL has entered the market just within 1 year of DeFi happening. And you have to also remember too that DeFi Summer started when it was considered, I guess, like the market was still not like super red hot, right? Like last year's summer, ETH was not even like popping off. Bitcoin wasn't really popping off as well, but the farm coins, Sushi, Uniswap still came out and provided this huge catalyst for real revenue and real use cases. And this is, whatever Bitcoin goes and ETH goes, it's still going to continue on, especially now with more protocols turning on mainnet. You have Polkadot and Kusama that's going to be turning online as well with the parachains. You have Cosmos DeFi, thanks to the Cosmos IBC turning on as well. And then you also have, Solana, Cardano entered the year as well with smart contracts. there's just a lot of stuff. And then the layer twos, right? We got like Polygon, like taking up a storm. Just look at how much transactions they have running through layer 2, even if ETH 2.0 isn't fully scaling. And ETH 2.0 is almost, I'd say maybe about 6 months plus or minus away as well. So it's like whatever happens from now to then, it still doesn't really matter, because like the fundamentals are still strong, and it's going to continue on regardless of whatever Bitcoin and Elon and Dogecoin does. That's a little battle on that front. So we're in a whole different market, in my opinion. We got a lot more different types of stable coins. We have a lot more bigger players in the space, and then if the market still tilts sideways, people are still generating a ton of revenue through passive income and through the interest of some of these yield protocols as well too.
Yeah, that was actually my concern. Is looking at. I wasn't involved in Compound and Aave, or I can't remember how to pronounce it. I wasn't involved in a lot of the DeFi stuff until around before summertime happened. So I was just wondering, what's going to happen, thinking about the future, what's going to happen, what was happening in the bear market for some of these DeFi protocols. Were they still generating these type of interests? Were they still making money? And then if you look back, there's actually articles that's like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's in a bear market, but look at these DeFi projects, they're crushing it. So even during like the bear market, DeFi was on fire, and I think that's going to be the case even after whatever happens in the next few months, I guess, or hopefully not in the next few months. But I think DeFi is going to be sticking around. It's just way too easy for to borrow money, to get involved into these passive interest-based protocols, and people are utilizing it for actual creating wealth rather than just buying and holding.
Yeah, because like for most of these financial assets, like these financial vehicles, they were limited from like the regular individual user from getting in. But now you don't need any KYC, you don't need any requirements. You don't have to go through a tedious task just to borrow some money. So that's why like lending and borrowing got like really, really popular with Compound. I remember when Compound was like $25, $30 or so, and people still didn't kind of like see the whole platform, the whole rise of it, until like it got listed onto like Coinbase, and then Compound just took off like a storm. Having decentralized finance is a way to help people around the world that, let's say, if they didn't have a bank account, they didn't have a way to have a credit score, like something happened to their credit score. Like these things were barriers of entry to a lot of individuals. But now opening up a decentralized area where anyone can just kind of come in and say, hey, look, I just want to lend out some of my money, and another user can just borrow without any requirements.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been changed the field. Okay, so let's kind of jump into what you guys do exactly. We've already explained, DeFi Summit. Let's tell our users, what DeFi Summit exactly is. I know it's coming up. I think it's June 14th, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. June 14th to 18th.
Okay, and so who's going to be there? What's it about? Obviously, it's about DeFi, but
yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so we saw that there's a lot of different events that's coming up. Let's say like Consensus, that they'll invite like all the top, like Gary Vee and like all the suits and institutions and like celebrities and stuff. And then we saw Bitcoin Miami. That's like a Bitcoin maxi event. It's cool, but it still doesn't represent what's going on, especially with Bitcoin just going sideways or hasn't had any action in the past couple of months, I'd say.
Yeah,
while altcoins and DeFi Summer 2.0 is on the horizon, right? So like, why are we having a Bitcoin maxi event when the altcoin season has been taking over Bitcoin? In my opinion, just look at the stats of games, right? But we saw that there wasn't any events dedicated to DeFi specifically, despite the boom of DeFi. And we wanted to build an event, online event for now, that was accessible by everybody, and just have a whole week of just like educational content to let people know what's going on, what's being built in the space. I think what's great about DeFi again is like we all come from much more stronger like fundamentals, because a lot of the projects in DeFi are actually generating revenue and consistently growing as a baseline or foundation for a lot of these protocols. That's why all these protocols now are just trying to jump into DeFi super quick, because it's very sustainable and it lets the network grow from a user acquisition standpoint.
It's
So,
basically like a community on chain that like, I mean, people talk about building a community for your token and stuff, and DeFi is a community literally on chain because everyone's kind of
100%.
getting involved.
100%. Not only that too, it is allowing real money. Like we talk about mass adoption, you know, we saw NFTs are trying to get the artists and the gamers and collections, a whole new crowd buying NBA Top Shots. DeFi is going to bring the fintech and traditional finance crowd into crypto. That's the difference now too. So the opportunity is much more larger than just pleasing the crypto market itself, in terms of like the users. The potential for unlocking all those dollars is just going to shift from traditional finance. You know, once people are waking up and understand that they can skip the bank and just become their own bank through DeFi, and get much more, like, you know, anywhere from like 10 to 20x more than their 1% or less interest rate on their bank, then why are you going to hold that collapsing dollar?
I've been telling everyone to basically convert their savings account into stable coins and just send it out a compound, and everyone's like, 10%, that sounds sketchy. Like what's the catch? Like, how are they paying 10% interest on this?
And the bank is taking their 10%. So it's like we're becoming our own bank. So yeah, you know, we set out to create a whole conference and event all around that. We rounded up a lot of the builders in the space, such as Chainlink. You know, obviously Chainlink's been having a heavy hand in DeFi. We got Cosmos, Polygon, Web3 Foundation, Akala. The list goes on in terms of, if you just go to look at DeFiSummit.com, you can take a look at the roster there as well. But we're just happy to have people showcase, you know, a future of DeFi across multiple chains, and we think it's going to be cross-chain. Yep. We also got Unicrypt, Harvest Finance. You know, just a whole list, and we're adding more too as we continue to grow our lineup here as well. So we're just bringing a lot of different perspectives, and we're adding, you know, a lot more speakers across different topics, from DEXs, insurance, bonds, lending, etc.
And how does the registration work exactly? Because we just want to. So some of our users are probably gonna, you know, want to get involved. Do they just, I mean, I see the registration button. Is there tickets, or is it just just sign up? Or how does it
scroll down right there. You can just register. It's completely free. And then once you register, you can just and then we'll inform you. You'll pretty much be registered for like our week of events that are coming up.
Nice, cool. So they just go on the website. So if you're watching this, just go on the website, literally hit register, and you're all in. Let's go back to the page real quick.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, some of these guys that we've actually spoken to. So if you've watched our other videos as well, I think there was Alex that we spoke to just yesterday. I mean, there are some big players on this list. I think everyone should just kind of watch this. I mean, they've been watching us talk about DeFi, and these guys are much more involved, I guess, than we are at this point. You know, you have Chainlink here, Coinbase engineer. That should be really interesting.
Yeah, so from like our speakers as well, as like we have it to where we're blockchain agnostic, so it doesn't matter what chain that you're building on, as long as it provides a decentralized finance opportunity for users. So that's why we're working with you know, a few of them from different chains as well. So it's not just all based on Ethereum. So that, and also for the event too, it's completely free. So it's like no cost for barrier of entry. We're going to be live streaming it to multiple platforms, similar to like YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and a few more as well. So that after the video, let's say if you're unable to make it during that time zone, we'll have the videos already pre-recorded on YouTube. So you know, go back and view each day and things like that too. I know it'll be pretty interesting because there's going to be a few different, I'll say like unique things that are going to be beneficial for users who watch during that time as well.
Wow. And I actually just saw that it's going on for 5 days. That's a lot of content. So, you know, if anyone wants to learn, that's, I guess, the place to learn about DeFi. There was one thing I know you guys mentioned Cardano. I know it's on fire right now. Are you guys planning on having anyone from their team over, or do you guys already have people from over there?
Yeah, not officially from IOHK, but we know that there are projects being built on Cardano, such as
Nice.
OCAM Finance, which is one of the Cardano launch pads. And then from there, there's a lot more other upcoming projects that are building or launching on Cardano, or they intend to. It's going to be very similar to right now, with Polkadot.
Yeah.
Polkadot hasn't launched yet, so everybody's launching their ERC20 Polka projects as well. But we could expect the same kind of attrition. Not all the Polkadot projects that call themselves Polka whatever are going to make it to the actual mainnet, just with the way that Polkadot works with the parachains. I'm not completely sure yet on how Cardano works in terms of slots, or if they even have any slots. Everybody can just jump onto their network. But there are projects being built on Cardano. They are taking their time, I guess. I'm still learning more about the ecosystem. It's taken a while for them to launch their smart contracts, but you can't, in terms of a trading perspective, you can't doubt the community and gains that are happening from it, which is just absolutely nuts since they haven't launched anything yet.
Yeah, I know. It's all everyone's talking about is Cardano. And even during this dip, it was from what I saw, maybe I'm misremembering, their price was still going up. People were still trying to buy it in.
Yeah, what we have different now. We have the meme crowd, the Wall Street Bets crowd, and the Dogecoin crowd too. And what I've heard too a lot, and I saw a little bit, is that Cardano was shilled super heavy on TikTok. Same with Polygon as well, and both of them are Coinbase listed as well. So that is a new factor in terms of trading that we haven't seen before. Is the both Coinbase effect and Robinhood effect. That's why we saw like Dogecoin pop off. It's one of the lowest coins on Robinhood. So if Robinhood lists another coin, same with like Ethereum Classic got pumped again. Like I don't know if there's somebody orchestrating this or it's just a huge mob why Ethereum Classic's pumping, but it just goes to show that if enough of these guys shill it and they all go in one direction, then it doesn't really matter what the coin is. They We've already seen this with AMC and GameStop. So
it was actually, I was wondering, I'm not on TikTok, so I don't really know exactly what's going on over there. But after seeing like SafeMoon and Shiba and all these tokens pump, I was like, what's going on? And I just try to like research into it. And literally all these influencers that are posting videos, not like crypto influencers, like regular influencers, they're posting videos like, look, I bought Shiba, I bought like $10 worth, and they have like 10 billion of them, the tokens. Like, what happens if it goes to $1? Like, yeah, sure, it could potentially go to $1, but you're not, it's like, there's just so much supply that, but they're convincing their users. They're like, the upside to it is so high, and then all of a sudden you get this influx of just random people buying it up and pumping up the price. That seems to be, what I saw with some of these other tokens too, is they're just shilling it and getting a bunch of random people involved, which is, and at the same time could be a good thing, because there's been a few people that we've spoken to that are like, yeah, I got into crypto back in the day when I bought Doge, and since then I started, researching more into crypto, and that's why I'm here now. So maybe some of those users that bought Shiba are going to stick around.
Yeah, I think like the whole very big max supply, so that it just, even if it hits a penny or hits $1, gets a lot of the, let's say, like newer traders in, to kind of at least get them into the door into crypto. And then after, like we saw like 2018, how Ripple was really, really low, and then after that everyone's like, even if it just hit 10 cents, 20 cents, $1, it does take some time. But like for some of these like super, I mean, it's a really good like marketing play in terms of like getting the retail in, because if you're able to have a super big supply and someone feels like, oh, instead of buying one Bitcoin, which is $50,000, why don't I just buy $50,000 worth of this coin, and if it goes to $1, I'll be rich. So it's kind of like, I would say that wave is like, that's what's happening now. But either way, it's like all of these things to build in the community just makes the whole crypto community stronger, right? Because we're getting more users into the space, we're getting more people to understand about it, And of course, there's going to be waves within crypto to where, big dip happens and, half of them just like, oh my God, I lost a lot of money and I'll just leave. But then the ones that do stay are the ones that are going to be, pushing through, chugging along, and then, getting more involved.
Yeah, and that was even on Twitter and in the news, like people are talking about NFTs and stuff like that. So the more, I guess, crypto is reaching out to normal users, the better. I mean, even now with the Bitcoin at $50,000, it's I still feel a lot of it is an untapped market. Normal people are still not really involved. It's as far as speaking to my friends and family and stuff. It's mainly still more technology enthusiast crowd that's involved in crypto, and getting everyone else involved. It's going to be it seems to be difficult, but it's getting there.
Yeah, it's just gonna take some time because like even some of my friends are like, how do I buy something besides Bitcoin? I was like, but why? It's like, because I can't afford it. It's one coin.
Yeah.
It's like so expensive. I was like, you buy portions of it. They're like, just mine just opens up. Like you can buy a portion of it.
But at the same time, having like a portion of a Bitcoin doesn't seem to mean much. Like, if you have $1 and then you have quarters, it's not. But then you have like SafeMoon, and you have 10 billion of them for $10. It seems to trigger that FOMO in their minds.
And I think like also like another, you spoke briefly on like NFTs, and like I see how like the NFT artists are now starting to get into the game. They're starting to like produce a lot of content. Like we've seen spikes in OpenSea in terms of like listings of NFTs. More auctions going on as well. Same for like rareable, super rare. And that's kind of like just like one use case of NFTs, because NFTs can be used as a representation of any type of data on the blockchain. So if you wanted to have, an encryption of, let's say, like a trust on the blockchain, you can have it to where you can have your beneficiaries and everything, and the NFT would represent like a trigger, or even for like supply chain too. Like think of it as like you had a wine bottle, then you wanted to authenticate. You have all the information within that NFT, and it can still be actively traded on the market. So I think there's a project called Persistence. They were doing, trades with like soybeans and coffee beans, more like commodities, and they're able to NFT the invoices to make the invoices monetizable. So there's
we actually, is it the Persistence one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we spoke with them. I didn't know they were doing NFTs. We kind of talked about their staking, but I wasn't aware they did an NFT.
Yeah. So it's like the NFT, I would say, industry is still super early. Like we haven't seen, we're starting to like now get music on the blockchain. We haven't even seen movies yet, So yeah, it's still like, even for the gaming industry, if there's more, I would say, interoperability, think of it as if you're playing Axie Infinity, but then your Axie is then converted into like another item within another game. So it's like collaborations with these ones as well. So yeah, it's a whole kind of like whole can of worms once it opens up. But I think NFTs are going to go a long way.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about all those applications to it. I mean, the art thing, obviously, it's around, and it's the main thing that's taking people by the storm. But I didn't think about the other ones that you mentioned. You said the security aspect of it. Is there anyone that's working on that currently, or is it just kind of a theory that's being passed around?
Well, so there is, I believe, ERC 1155, where you can add like NFTs into bundles. I think like Charge Protocols is working on adding like token baskets into an NFT. So it represents like that financial side, but like you can have it to where you can code it to, let's say if this and that, you want to code it to where this NFT is then sent to this owner or this address. So let's say like if I had a will and I placed everything down and says, hey, look, whenever I pass away, my children's going to get my crypto, right?
Yep.
So I have it all charged within that NFT. And then for them, they'll have like, inside the information will have like my private key or something. So they'll be able to receive it once the trigger happens, and then unlock, that NFT for my tokens.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so I mean, is this something that some of the items you guys are going to be, I guess, covering during the conference, or do you think it's going to be covered? Because I mean, this is honestly interesting to me, because I didn't even, when I was looking at NFTs, it was just like, okay, that's just hype. You have all the art that's going on, but it seems like there's a lot more application to it than most people are aware.
Yeah, there is a lot of them. We do have a kind of like an NFT day. They have a lot of projects kind of like come up and showcase on panels. So definitely we do have some part of NFTs integrated into the DeFi Summit because like it also unlocks another area similar to like the regular trading world, like collectibles world too. There is a
Yeah.
financial market for like even for like sneakers. You've
Yeah.
seen with like
Yeah.
StockX, people buy and sell sneakers all the time. And it's another area for where people can kind of like use their capital for investments.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be on the first day. Let me actually pull that up again. I think the first day is the NFT day, so I'll have to tune in. Yeah, looks like cool. So yeah, if you guys are watching, the first day is the NFT, and it seems like there's more to it than most people know. At least I was aware. So definitely check it out. There was actually a question here by Scott. Let's see if we can. What do you think of IOTA? Why with the new upgrade hasn't it pumped? Is it relevant to DeFi? I haven't been keeping up with them. Have you guys know much about them?
I haven't kept up with them after the hack.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, they got. I didn't even remember. I forgot. They got
I think
hacked.
their blockchain was off for like a good day or so, or a few days. That was a few months ago. So like after that hack, I haven't been like keeping up to date with them.
And honestly, Scott, part of the pumping that we talked about is it really is just the market. Like you have a lot of good projects. I don't know about IOTA, but I know there's a lot of good projects out there that just don't pump because they're not the marketing aspect of it. Like you can't get, like we talked about, like SafeMoon and Shiba and stuff. Those are pumping because they're just very focused on pumping up the price rather than anything else. So most of their budget goes into, hey, let's just pump up this token as much as we can, and then deal with everything else later.
Yeah, what's also too with IOTA, from what I understand, is that they don't really have a strong smart contracts platform. So if they don't have that, they can't run DeFi. I mean, that's just facts. And also too, IOTA, if you go to the, you understand like their mission, they were trying to do like identity devices and more like the IoT back in the day. If they're trying to shift and add DeFi, it's just not within their, it's not what the protocol is built around. They're trying to go for like low powered devices and identity for all those low powered devices. So they are not unable to unlock that. So if they don't even have, like, from my understanding, there's smart contracts, like it's still in like alpha release. I mean, I just look at a blog here on March. It's still ways away, and if that's still not like even tested, and if it's alpha right now, then it's still long away. But can IOTA have DeFi potentially once their smart contracts turned online? We saw with like Harmony finally turned on DeFi on their platform with Viper Swap, and that just exploded their token use case as well, especially if they are a scalable or super fast platform. It also should be EVM compatible, hopefully. If not, then you're not going to be able to tap into the MetaMask and the large crowd as well too. So I'm not bullish for IOTA DeFi. I just think that there are other protocols and platforms that are going to do it much better. But if you are a IOTA holder, then you'd want to hope for IOTA DeFi, hopefully, because you can do more with your liquidity and tokens that you're hodling. But there's better platforms that do it better. And since IOTA is running its own chain and own language as well too, like people are not going to easily port their DeFi applications over. So they're going to have to start from the ground up.
Yeah, that's another aspect. I mean, that's kind of what Binance did well to try to take over Uniswap and all these other decentralized exchanges. Is they basically cloned what Ethereum is, and were able to tap into all these automatic connections, like setting up Binance chain on your MetaMask is just a click of a button. Whereas if you're starting to get involved in some of these other chains that are using different languages and different infrastructures, it's just hard to get involved. Ethereum's still dominating the field, and if you're not using Solidity on your new chain, then people aren't going to move their code over to your new chain. It's just not gonna happen.
Definitely.
Actually, there was I don't know if I didn't read into it. It was like on my Telegram. I'm in some group and it popped up. Did Cardano actually push out a smart contract? Was there someone that?
No, it's going to come in August. Early
August.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So right now, the only thing you can do is staking, and then there's a reason. I'm not I'm an okay fan of Cardano. We'll have to. I'm a wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
I understand the reasoning that even just this weekend, Mark Cuban got into a little Twitter battle with Charles Hoskinson.
Really?
Hoskinson. Yeah, it was a massive thread yesterday or Friday. Basically, Mark Cuban tweeted at Charles and said, "Hey, like what's actually being used and built on your guys' platform?" And then what's it called? Charles said, "Hey, I'd love to talk about it. Come by, but let me explain it if you come by my ranch." And then Mark Cuban said, if you can't even explain it, then that's usually like a pitch. Like you can't explain the project. Usually that's like you have troubles like pitching your product, then that's usually a sign for a scam, and then it just turns into this like massive war. But what I got from it, though, from Charles's reasoning is his intention and goals is that he wanted to have Cardano be accessible to like all developers outside of Solidity, like the main developers like Java, Haskell, and all these other languages. And so what he's doing, or what he says he's doing, is like the reason why smart contracts is taking a long time is that they have to rewrite the whole platform from the ground up to be able to allow for developers outside of building Solidity or like Rust, like Polkadot's running on Rust and all these other ones as well, like Hashgraph. They see that from Cardano's standpoint, mass adoption comes from like accessibility for developers. So we'll just have to see if that's true and if that happens or not. It's just been a long time, I think that you look at some other platforms like Luna and Polkadot, they've done much more in less time.
Yeah, honestly, I think I was invested in a token back in 2018 or something, which I don't know if you guys know about Stratus. That's what they were trying to do too. They were trying to develop an Ethereum version instead of Solidity using C#, and that didn't work out that too well for them. I understand. As if you're a new developer coming into blockchain and all you know is C or whatever Node or C++, it might be easier for you to utilize that, but at the same time, you still have to do your research and understand how to utilize the API endpoints and everything. And at that point, might as well use what's been used for the past like 6-7 years on Ethereum, which is Solidity. There was another question. I don't know much about Luna. I don't know if you guys know about Luna.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super bullish about Luna. That's definitely one of my, just for awareness for everybody. Yeah, that's one of my biggest bags. But I've been doing research on Luna. I bought in around $2 and been holding on ever since. What has attracted me about Luna is, it's based off Tendermint, so it's super scalable, super fast, low transactions. Great protocol, and it's going to connect with all the other Cosmos DeFi and Cosmos chains through inter blockchain communication, which is a Cosmos IBC. What I like a lot about Luna compared to a lot of other protocols and platforms is that they are not focused on all the crazy like NFTs and like all these like random rabbit holes that you can go in DeFi. They're not trying to create something super complex for the crypto native people. They're just going directly to what's working in fintech, such as like money markets, savings, DeFi yields, loans, a loan platform, etc. So they're attacking, they're building dApps and protocols that are solving real world traditional finance and fintech needs. So like to me, like these protocols are going to go get into fast path to revenue, be much more sustainable. Inside of Luna, there's an Anchor protocol that gives 20% consistent yield on their stablecoin, which is US Terra. So even if there was a bear market, the Luna ecosystem would be very strong still because of Anchor protocol having that consistent 20%. That will, at least for now, like we even saw with like the crashes, it did not really push UST down off its peg as well too.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of math behind what they have behind Luna. So I'm super bullish about it. There's like over 100 projects being built by it and built on Luna. So it's its own protocol. And each of those tokens are also going to do a 1 year airdrop. So every single month, they'll do actually every single week, they will have an airdrop for each of the tokens as well too. So I'm super bullish because of that. So I'm just like taking a big bag of Luna and just staking it, and then just collecting three different tokens: Luna, Anchor Protocol, and Mirror Protocol. And I'll just say it straight up, Luna is invested by Coinbase. Luna is also invested by Mike Novogratz and Michael Arrington. Mirror Protocol just got listed on Coinbase when Coinbase IPO'd. They're for sure Luna is going to be listed on Coinbase. There's no doubt about it at all. So just look at the stats right there. They have 2 million active users on FinTech. Again, go to another protocol that has that. It doesn't. And so they're building essentially kind of like a Venmo and Robinhood in Korea, and then they have another one called Alice Finance that's going to be like a DeFi app that's going to chill inside of the US that allows you to have 20% APY, buy stocks through Mirror Protocol, etc. So it's a very fundamentally strong, focused project that's all about generating revenue and stable yields through their stablecoin.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't pay attention to them that much, but that seems really interesting. Might have to check them out a little more.
Yep.
Yep. And on staking, you get airdropped different type of stable coins too. So I think there's like 5 or 6 different type of stable coins that are being airdropped while you're staking as well.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like they're, those 3 applications that are integrated into, those are pretty significant. 2 million. The Chai, I didn't even know about Chai Scan. Looks like they have like 71,000 daily users on it, and a lot of transactions.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just like a taste of what's to come. So the whole idea of Luna is this: Luna is a algo stablecoin protocol, basically, where there's UST, which is the US Terra, and then Luna is the counterbalance to it as well. So it's not truly like one, backed by any like reserve, but it's actually the only like algo stablecoin that has kind of like survived and it's been chilling right now. If you look like Fate Protocol got wrecked. Even though that one's like super backed by Andreessen Horowitz and all the other guys as well. But US Terra has been around for the longest time, as well as Luna as well. So, like the way that they're building their platform is just to continue to drive up their stablecoin demand. And then as their stablecoin demand increases, Luna has to burn to continue to print more UST. So what they're doing now is they're just building like applications that just drive up printing more UST and then burning more Luna. And then because there's also 100 more airdrops coming along the way for the stakers, it's also increasing the value for stakers to remove liquidity and lock that up as well. So it's about 35 to 40% of the protocol is locked up on Luna as well too. So it has some very strong token economics built into the ecosystem. Even also too, the Robinhood founder was also invested in Luna as well too. So it just goes to show like the path there is. you cannot name another protocol right now that is 100% focused on bridging fintech into DeFi, and that is what's going to have the NBA Top Shots effect. Because if we can actually build all the straight fiat on ramps into a DeFi bank account, then you're just going to see money just like flow super quick. And that's still the biggest bridge and issues that we're seeing with all the other DeFi platforms. To get into sushi and into these farms is like a, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 step process with like multiple fees as well too. We need a fast and easy way to do it. And right now, Luna is the one that's currently doing it. So to me, it's a sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, getting people involved in anything DeFi, it's like, okay, here's an entire article on how to set up your wallet, how to set up this, how to set up that, and then eventually you were able to purchase whatever you want or take part in it. So that is it would be a huge step to make it, make it as easy as possible for normal users to get involved. And that's what Coinbase did with crypto in general, like purchasing coins. They made it so easy for people to purchase Bitcoin back in the day. All you would have to do is like link up your credit card and then press the buy button, and all of a sudden, you had Bitcoin in your wallets. So doing that for DeFi is going to be very significant.
Definitely.
And we had another question about Solana ecosystem. I've been paying attention to this. What are y'all's comments, I guess? What do you guys feel about Solana?
I don't know, Michael, you want to take it, or?
I don't know too much of the development on Solana, but from what I've heard is that they're able to have another play on where, similar to like how Binance Smart Chain has like, okay, so Binance Smart Chain, they have their routing system to where they can route users directly into Binance Smart Chain's applications through Binance portals and stuff. So having another exchange, go with Solana. Solana provides like a fast. They are a very faster blockchain. In terms of like building applications on there, you need a fast blockchain that actually secure itself. I think they do it through proof of history, proof of history, and then Binance Smart Chain is proof of authority. So you're able to kind of have super fast transactions, super fast latencies as well, so that you can build more applications on there. Like let's say like if they're able to integrate NFTs for games, Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum cannot integrate games right now on a very high scale because of their block times. So whenever you're trying to provide like another infrastructure for something that requires very fast ping, think of it as like if you're building an FPS game that has NFTs as the guns or the skins, right, on chain, and then having it to where you need to have something confirmed on chain within less than a second to be able to continue on and map everything that's happening. I think Solana does have a promising factor because they are building fairly quickly and they're building fairly fast with the kind of like backing of like Sam and their team as well. It's like they're able to provide into like a multitude of like different projects. So I know that there's a huge ecosystem that's sleeping on Solana right now.
Yeah, it looks like I hadn't been on their website in a while, and let me actually pull it up. It looks like they just have been onboarding new projects like crazy. Let me see if I can pull it up. I mean, the last time I visited, it wasn't this. They didn't have all these projects on there, but it looks like they're growing fairly quickly.
So, yes, in a way. Obviously, like you can always see through the lines of some of these stuff. Like these people are going to just integrate. Like Chainlink and then Terra is going to bring their stable coins. So they're not. In between this, the only thing that we're still seeing right now is that there's not enough dApps being built on Solana. Those are all integrations. So those are just a lot of logos that are going to be connecting to Solana. And Solana is, can be part of the whole cross-chain ecosystem across all these other chains as well. You can, push some of your throughput through Solana as well. But I'm still super bullish of Solana. I think Sam is backing it. They have Solana Seasons hackathon happening right now. So they're trying to get more people building on it and raising more awareness. Like what I'd like to see more about Solana. That's why I still think it's super early on for Solana. Is we want to see more dApps currently being built on it, and I think we are slowly getting there. We saw there's a lot more airdrops coming along the way. One airdrop actually is the one that really pushed Solana above its like all-time high before, from like maybe like 20 to 40. That was called Cope. Cope, it's like a trading social network as well, and they did just like one massive airdrop to the Solana stakers. But what I've read from that though is a pure kind of like shit show. Like the Solana wallet and experience is still pretty poor. Same with Polkadot. I think the UI UX is poor, and that is going to be a huge barrier to entry for DeFi, and then just like the mainstream audience as well. That's why like I still think like Luna, they focus a lot on UI UX, and the experience is like it's night and day like compared to like both Polkadot and Solana, and I'm bullish on both. But I would be lying to say that the wallets and the user experience is great. There's just a ton of issues, like even with Solana, just handling airdrops was just a mess. People don't even know if they're going to get an airdrop from their Soleil wallet or whatever it is as well. So they, on a foundational level, it needs to be cleaned up a bit before we can actually see real DeFi pop off for Solana, Polkadot, and all these other platforms. Same with Cardano.
Yeah, it seems like it's an arms race at this point. All these new blockchains developing, smart contracts are racing against ETH 2.0 to try to get there, and before ETH, solves their issues with gas and everything. Hopefully, we'll see who the winner is, but it seems to be the case that everyone's just kind of waiting around for ETH 2.0 while everyone else developing their smart contracts are trying to beat them to the punch.
Yeah, and if we live like in a multi-chain world too, like ETH can still take a lot of the transactions, and then since others are going to be, have bridges or connections through like Moonbeam and Polkadot, taking ERC ERC20 into Polkadot, then we're going to live in a world where it just doesn't, it won't really matter what's happening. Things will still validate on the Ethereum blockchain, but they can still conduct their own transactions in their own Cosmos or Polkadot chain as well too. So that's like the beauty of it, and that's going to allow for more scalability overall, and eventually make the experience better for everyone once we get to that stage.
Yeah.
I think also like the blockchains are all separated right now, and there's kind of like no true, I would say, aggregator for multi-chain. Even though Cosmos and everyone's trying to build that kind of like ecosystem to where it's very adaptable back and forth, but being able to streamline and find out, let's say, if I want to get the best pricing for DEXs between Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and the DEXs on Solana, the DEXs on Cosmos, centralized exchanges too. Like, there's a lot of arbitrage to happen. That's just between layers right now. Like, for example, like so like even for me, it was like when I was trading on Ethereum, I was trading between Uniswap and SushiSwap. There was always arbitrages to where, as traders, you can look for those arbs between different platforms. Of course, the gas fees are going to be something that you got to keep in mind. But once gas fees went up, you now had like 10, 15, 20 DEXs building on Binance Smart Chain. So now it's a bigger set of data that you can look across, right? And then from there, you can check out which pricings are that just on DEXs alone. And then we had like Polygon, which has, QuickSwap and some of the other ones too. So it's like now you have a 3-layer, and then, now you have like so many blockchains that are available. You have prices that are still very stagnant across each one of them. So you'll never truly get the best price. And then even compared to then, it's like having a way for traders to really understand DeFi, so just kind of like dive in and try to use some of these protocols, using the swapping functions, using the vaults, using the lendings, because then you can arbitrage, to even centralized exchanges too. Like even between centralized exchanges now, if you're trading on Binance, you're trading on Huobi, you're trading on, Bittrex, Poloniex, like any of these exchanges, there are arbitrage opportunities if you're able to catch them in time. So it's like, that's another industry that hasn't really, I would say, stabilized the price of DeFi yet. So that's why like yields are kind of still up in the air with a lot of them, because you can kind of not fully aggregate the actual true price. Even for like centralized exchanges right now, they can even barely keep up with each other to do like aggregated true price. Yeah,
that's actually really interesting. I know that, on Ethereum, you do have those aggregates, but doing a cross chain might be will be more significant. I can't remember what like Harvest and stuff are aggregating those yields. I guess doing maybe eventually they'll do it cross chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like with Harvest, they're integrating into other blockchains too.
Yeah.
But like bridging it back, like
Bridging,
bringing
yeah,
the bridge, yeah. So you can bridge liquidity. So let's say if you wanted to have, let's say $1 million split between like 5 protocols, but it also aggregates to say, hey, look, we're gonna route 10% here this time and 20% here this time. Like it auto routes for you. So yeah, similar to like a Harvest Finance, but with like a total combined industry. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do one more question and then we'll try to wrap it up real quick. Chelsea, I think, had a question about Near. Have you guys been keeping up with Near by any chance?
Not me in particular.
Okay. Maybe Chelsea will, maybe someone will speak at the conference about Near.
Yeah,
someone might mention.
Yeah, I'd love to learn more about what's happening with Near. Just haven't heard much about what's been going on there. You know, I know that they've been very strong on the development side, but I just don't know what's the latest that's been happening with Near. So yeah, definitely love to learn more about them, and then hopefully we can have them also too within our events or just some of our content as well too. So I'll still keep an open mind with Near, but haven't heard anything since.
And maybe we're about Kai. There was another question about Cardia Chain. I don't know. I don't know about them either. So
I'm not sure what they are.
Yeah, I wasn't. Maybe they're something new that popped up. Let me see if I can pull up their website.
Yeah, Cardia Chain. Yeah, I have no clue about them. Yeah, you know, I don't know too much to comment about them.
Well,
so it's the first interactive
blockchain
in Vietnam and Southeast Asia.
Oh,
so
that might be why they might be more focused on the Asian market than the United States.
Yeah, so that's why we probably haven't heard of them yet. Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely take a look at it. But yeah, not seems like they got their own DEX and other DeFi stuff going on.
Yeah.
Which is, again, it's that could be like another, like, from a DeFi standpoint, I think that's something that would be super interesting that I haven't seen done very well and effective, is that building purpose-built blockchains or even DeFi applications for local territories or localization. So in this case with Cardia Chain going after Southeast Asia or Vietnam specifically as well, there's a ton of potential there to get more of those people into the crypto and blockchain and DeFi. If they can do that, that's a huge bonus. And there's other projects that are going after other emerging markets, or just like very dedicated DeFi applications for if they can build something, somebody like Luna built something for Korea and China. If Cardia Chain can do this for Vietnam, it's huge. It's going to be huge as well too. So that's also another open opportunity. Instead of trying to build super wide, just go deep in one territory. And if you solve those guys' needs, and then you become the bridge for those communities as well too. So I'm always a fan of that.
That's actually, I didn't really fully think about that, is going after some countries that have major banking problems. I mean, everyone's going after the United States because obviously that's where a lot of money is. But at the same time, some of these other countries that have huge issues in the banking industry, basically sucking them dry of all their money because of high interest rates and stuff. It might be a potential great product to target those nations specifically, and not only just change their lives, but your lives and your company's life too.
And even for like countries with like hyperinflation too, like you see like Turkey and Venezuela, and people are just tired of cash. Like, so how did they find a way? If you're integrating and finding a way to bridge that to them, like they're in struggles. Like their currency is devaluing every single day, every single hour. For them to kind of even have something remotely stable, it's really difficult. So like bridging this financial, to centralized finance, having them a way to, independently store their own assets, or keep, even keep out of the volatility of it, will be really beneficial for everyone around the world. You know, the part of decentralized finance is to become your own bank, so that you don't have to have like a middleman holding over your assets, because like we've even seen banks fail. Banks, even though they're too big to fail, they do fail. Like we see Lehman Brothers in 2008 with the whole marketing, the mortgage financial crisis. You know, everyone's like they're too big to fail. How do they pass? You know, so it's like it's still, you know, having it as a user, you know, being a user and being able to store your own assets and keeping it to yourself. You know, if you wanted to have, if I wanted to lend it out, I'll lend it out. Do things with it that can help these people that are, you know, just on their mobile phones, or, you know, not really too tech savvy, but building that bridge between, you know, how do we get them on, and then how do we educate them, you know, through easy UX UI, and being able to, you know, show them the progress of like what DeFi is building and how we can fully just kind of like free them.
Yep. Yeah, that's I'm originally from Republic of Georgia, and back there it's the banking industry is just insane. They charge like credit card rates for mortgages. And you know, people are basically getting into these 20-30% interest rates mortgages that they're never going to pay off. And what's even worse, you know, some farmers and the working class, they'll even like repossess your like cows and sheep and chicken if you don't pay back your insanely high interest rate. So yeah, I mean, hitting those type of nations where you have problems, and make it as easy as possible to onboard people, like a bank would. I mean, a bank's job is especially bank's job like that, is convincing this user as easily as possible to take those loans. Just sign one line and you're good to go. You have $100,000 and don't even worry about everything else. But at least with DeFi, onboarding them, at least they get proper rates, and they're actually taken care of in a decentralized manner, obviously.
So with a bank account, let's say if I deposit $100 into the bank, everyone's here kind of like, you know, you guys know what leverage trading is, right? Like, let's say, you know, if I deposit $100 into the bank now has $1,000 to trade. So if I deposit $20,000, they now have $200,000 to trade. Now, when it comes to like loans, what happens is that loans are basically promissory notes with inherent value. So let's say if you wanted to buy, let's say I open up my own bank, get all my licensings and everything. You know, I have my first liquidity pool for my investors. I can effectively give someone $1 million loan to buy a house, and within that loan, it has the fixed interest rate in there. So let's say even if I charge like 3% on that $1 million, that loan now is effectively $1 million with, you know, that 3% added over 30 years. I can sell that loan to another bank at a smaller rate, you know, so they can still generate profits or anything. And that, if that bank effectively takes it, I already receive all my interest rate up front and the loan is paid off for. So that's what like kind of like gets into like the debt collector market, you know, selling off your loan for another area, just to like recoup capital. But basically, banks are able to print money without actually having money. They just have the connections to sell those promissory notes.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It's, I mean, it is. Okay, I think let's wrap up here. We're getting close to that hour mark. So everyone check out DeFi Summit. We've been working closely with Justin Michael. So definitely check it out. They have some amazing guest speakers on there. They're starting in, sorry, I forgot, June 14th is the first day to the NFT and the kickoff. And then it'll go for the next 5 days. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or including that day, I guess. But yeah, and just check it out. It's DeFiSummit.com. You can register. I'll actually put the link in the comments. You can sign up right now, and you can see all the speakers on there. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add before we cut it short, or not short, but cut it here?
I guess, no, I mean, go Michael.
I was gonna say one thing to help Aurox users as well. As a trader, there is an arbitrage strategy that you guys can probably use on the platform, since you guys are connected with 50 exchanges. Being able to just check pricing in one terminal and being able to trade back and forth at the end of the day, you can realize profits by pulling out afterwards. But you can have it to where you can basically put two liquidity pools. So let's say $1,000 and $1,000 on two exchanges, basically buy and sell based off of the pricing of those two. And then slowly at the end of it, you'll start like seeing some of the profits as you pull out, because like once you pull out of ETH onto like MetaMask or something, you'll start seeing that difference of trading that day. Just an FYI.
Yeah, Michael's been using our terminal, so he seems to be getting hang of everything. Thanks for that tip, Ori. I might actually message you. Maybe we can have you on for one of our like TA type of sessions, and you can give some pointers.
Just get ready. Crypto is still on the roller coaster. There's just crazy stuff always happening. Just even right now as we're talking, there's just a whole little Elon Musk debacle going on here, where Bitcoin maxis are just taking a piss at Elon, and Elon's just saying that Elon says that he almost feels like he wants to go full Doge now, just to piss off the Bitcoin maxis. And then one person said that if they piss off Bitcoin so much, he's going to dump all his Bitcoin for Doge, and Elon says indeed. So that's why the market's crashing literally right now. There's this.
Yes, someone mentioned it was at the start of the call. I think this was at 1:30, so this was like 30 minutes ago. So it seems like something was going down.
Yeah.
What's
but
funny
don't let
is
the bears scare you. I know a lot of people, the big organizations still accumulating, so it's a whale season right now.
What's funny is I heard it from someone, I won't mention exactly who, but apparently the Bitcoin maximalists, they sent out invites to a lot of speakers. They have a lot of speakers on there, and as far as I know, Elon Musk was one of them. But I heard this like a couple weeks back. So I'm wondering if he just gave a big middle finger to them after the whole Bitcoin thing that went down.
The more he dumps, the more it goes into the market, the more we can accumulate.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
There's just the fact that after that first bear market where it crashed from 20,000, it was mainly, I think people were afraid that it was never going to recover. But now people know it's going to recover. So if it hits 30, 20, 15,000, you're going to see a massive, people are going to I'm going to scoop it up. Like, why wouldn't you? You'd be stupid not to, because we've already shown that it can recover from a huge drop in price. It was like in a week or two, it dropped like 50% just out of nowhere. So if it can recover after that, I would imagine it can recover after basically anything.
Yeah, and even in March when it dropped down to like $3,000, like all the exchanges, they basically got into maintenance mode, because like the bots that were trading on exchanges, the bots went into like oversell mode. Like the bots literally just dumped as much Bitcoin as they could, and it caused the price to drop dramatically. Even like during like the COVID drop, just dropping dramatically. And they restarted the exchanges, the bots re-updated their APIs, and then right after that, you just see a massive green candle just every single time. We have been building past that resistance already, and I don't think we're ever going to see a $3,000 drop. 3,000 like all the way down to 3,000 anymore. Like that was like a fluke. But also another thing is like you're able to see these market makers, and they slowly collateralize over each other, so they'll start falling in a domino effect. And as a trader, if you can find those signals, it'll be really good in terms of like profitability for you as well.
Yeah, interesting. I really need to have you guys on for like more TA session, because I think a lot of our users are interested in that. Most of that we don't talk about them. Like, I guess your methodology is more looking at the market overall rather than with ours, it's indicators and stuff. So it would be nice to introduce our users to that aspect of it. Okay. Again, thanks for joining, Justin. Thanks for joining, Michael. Everyone, check out DeFi Summit. If you guys have any questions about it, let us know, and we'll definitely be able to let Justin and Michael know, and they can maybe speak with you guys. But if you have any questions, let us know. DeFiSummit.com. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.